Greetings everyone, welcome to Southern New Hampshire University CJ 104. Today we're going to talk about Activity 4-2, which is Milestone 2 for your final project. I want to take just a moment and go back over Milestone 1. All of you did well. There were no significant problems on your papers from now 2 weeks ago. But I want to make sure that you understand what you were asked to do was go through and describe the unethical behaviors in the case study, the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department case study. Then you need to assess the significance of those unethical behaviors, okay, that these CJ professionals, these police officers did, and then you need to connect them to the ethical responsibilities of each individual in the decision-making process. And what were the differences in those ethical responsibilities of the parties involved, and how did their actions neglect or uphold those responsibilities? And then you needed to add 2 new additional resources. Okay, and these, I remind you again, scholarly resources. I would not encourage the use of Google and Wikipedia and whatnot. Go back to Shapiro Library. Look for journals, peer-reviewed journals or academic journals. That's where Professor Davis did research, wrote this article. Professor Jones read the article and replicated the research, found different results or whatever, or at least responded to it, so there's an academic discussion about it, okay? In the case of ethics and ethical behavior, you can also look to professional journals, the International Association of Chiefs of Police or the FBI bulletins. What you're looking for is not a blog, if you can avoid that. That's just an opinion piece, and if you're going to use newspaper articles, same thing, be very careful you're not picking up an editorial. Okay, so you need 2 of those. Remember your paper's in APA format. Okay, we're still in Milestone 1. Here would be some very simple examples of unethical behavior that you might have found. The initial conspiracy, they conspired to do something unethical. Actions to injure, oppress, threaten, and intimidate. That's in quotations because it's straight out of the indictment, but that's what they did. Misuse of power and force. Disregard they showed for the Constitution itself. That could be an ethical behavior, just a general understanding we don't do that. And finally, theft. They stole things. All right, now let's move to this week to Assignment 4-2, Module 4, where we're going to describe the contributing factors, both implicit and explicit, that may have influenced the officers involved in the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department score unit. All right, so we're going to look for contributing factors, implicit and explicit. And then you're going to analyze how their conduct impacted their personal lives. Frankly, the easier of the 2. Okay, so let's take a look at implicit and explicit as contributing factors. The text, I think we're on about right at the very beginning of the chapter 5. Uses the example of parking tickets, and that if there's no parking posted all over downtown and the police write tickets or enforce it, then nobody's going to park there. But there's nothing inherently wrong. There's no intrinsic harm. So if the police stop writing tickets, everybody will park wherever they want. The second example is, well, there were multiple ones, but I just picked the sexual assault. It is inherently wrong to do this, to assault someone sexually. And so if the law were removed, sexual assaults probably wouldn't rise, because as a society we would still go, no, that's not right, we don't do that. So hopefully that helps you to begin to differentiate between intrinsic harm and extrinsic contributing factors, those kinds of things. Okay, on page 53, as it says right there in front of you, the classic theorist, and remember in the overview for this week I talked about there was a review of the positivists and the classic causes of crime, these theories. Okay, they come back, there's a reason, and that is crime is a course of conduct chosen by individuals with low self-esteem. Now remember, this is a theory. Okay, this explains an incentive of an officer seeing something of materialistic value and taking it, stealing. Okay, They don't feel real good about themselves for whatever reason. So they see things that they want. They go, you know what? I can take it. Positivism, that's where it's an answer to the classic theorists and the other early theories. Biological, psychological, and social factors determine individual behavior. There's more than one cause. Crime is largely determined by a combination of things, and so that's where we pick up the implicit and the explicit. Okay, think about it. If you were to join that SCORE unit from the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department and walk in there the first day, what would that be that when they threw $500 in your lap, would that be implicit or explicit? To me, it's explicit. It's an outside factor influencing you. Okay, so positivistic crime was the second form of crime, at least that I believe these men committed. This concept of crime states that crime is influential relating back to peer pressure, which was just the example I gave you. Okay, and so what are going to be the impacts on lives? You can read about the stuff, you can think about it. This is where you get to have a little thought process of your own. It's not necessarily straight out of the book. I just threw some things together. Their families probably destroyed, who knows, or certainly strained, will never be the same. Loss of income, no matter how much time they serve in jail. They have the huge burden of restitution. Plus, who's going to hire a former police officer or an ex? Kind of like Marines, former Marines and ex-Marines. But anyway, who's going to hire an ex-police officer that served time in a federal prison? Individual status, just your status in your community, whether it's your church or coaching your kids' teams or among your neighbors, your own self-worth, all those kinds of things. All those are going to be probably negatively impacted. I'm not sure there would be a positive one. It would perhaps be that yes, you figure out what you did wrong and are able to make your life valuable to help others not do that. But that's not an initial impact, I don't think. Okay, the requirements for the paper are 1 to 2 pages, double space, 12 points. Same as always, please use APA format. Once again, a reminder, you should probably have a cover page, a running head, and you need to, and then these are the critical elements that will be graded. The contributing factors, the analysis of conduct's impact, additional independent sources, excuse me, and an articulation of your response. Once again, you need 2 more new independent sources. So what you're doing is building your bibliography, building your references, building your citations, part of that scaffolding process. Okay, I hope this helps you all a little bit. If not, let me know. Use the general questions and discussion so everybody gets to read the question and the answers, or shoot me an email. As always, we can talk on the phone, we can Skype, or we can use Join Me, or we can just email between us, whatever you want. Keep those cards and letters coming. I'm here to help.